Page 16. Last headword was PR, public relations, newer type of lesson.
Yes,
Okay, so
okay.
let me just scroll down for our revision.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Let me double check. Okay, that's correct. So let's start. What's the
Okay.
difference between the words economic and economical? What's the difference between the words economic and economical? The difference
The
between the
difference
words
between the
economic
word
and
economic and
economical is that
economical is
economic
that the
means
economic means
related to money
related to
or
money
the economy,
or the economy,
whereas economical
whereas the
means
economical means
providing good value
providing good
or
values
requiring less
or
money
requiring
than
less
usual.
money than usual.
Very good. Give me an example of economic. Give me an example of the word
Example,
economic, please.
economic
The
means
government's
the
new
government
economic policy
new economic
seems to be
policies
working.
seems to be working.
Very good. And give me an example of the word economical. Give me an example of the word
Example of word
economical, please.
economical, please.
He keeps his central
Keeps
heating
the
on
central heating on
all the time because
all the time
he
because
believes it's more
he believes it's
economical.
more economical.
Very good. Okay. Next. Do the adjectives full-time and part-time have the same meaning as the adjectives permanent and temporary? Do the adjectives full-time and part-time have the same meaning as the adjectives permanent and temporary? No. The
No,
adjectives
the
full-time
adjectives
and
full-time
part-time
and
don't have
part-time
the same meaning
don't have the
as
same
the
meaning
adjectives
as the
permanent and
adjectives
temporary.
permanent and temporary.
Well, what's the difference then? What's the difference then? The difference is
The
that
difference is
full-time
that
and part-time
full-time and
indicate the
part-time
number of
indicates the
hours
number of
a
hours
person works each
a
week,
person work each week,
whereas permanent
whereas
and
the permanent
temporary
and the
tell
temporary
us
tell
whether an
us
employee's
whether an
contract
employee's contract
terminates after a
terminates
certain
after
period
a
or not.
certain period or not.
Very good. Is it hard for someone who doesn't work in business to understand business terminology? Is
Terminology.
it hard for someone who doesn't work in business to understand business terminology? Yes, it's
Yes,
hard for
it's
someone
hard for
who
someone
doesn't work
who
in
doesn't
business
work in
to
business
understand
to
business
understand the
terminology.
business terminology.
Very good. If you are speaking to a computer expert and they use a
Expert,
term
they
you
use a
weren't sure
term
about,
you aren't sure
would you
about.
ask them to
Would you ask
clarify the
them to
meaning of
clarify
the
the
term
meaning?
or would you ignore it? If you were speaking to a computer
Speaking to a
expert
computer
and they
expert
use a
and
term
they
you
use a
weren't sure
term
about,
you weren't
would you
sure
ask
about,
them to clarify the meaning of
to
the term
clarify the
or
meaning.
would you ignore it? If I were speaking
If I were
to a
speaking
computer
to a
expert
computer
and they
expert
used a term
and they used
I
the
weren't sure
terms
about,
I wasn't sure about,
I'd ask them to
I'd
clarify
ask
the
them to
meaning
clarify the
of the
meaning
term.
of the term.
Very good. In economic terms, which country in the world do you think is the healthiest? In economic terms, which country in the world do you think is the healthiest? In economic
In
terms,
economic
I
terms,
think
I think US
is the
is the
country in the world
country
that
in the
is the
world that
healthiest.
is the healthiest.
Very good. Do you always ensure that you read all the terms of every contract you sign? Do you always ensure that you read all the terms of every contract you sign? Yes or no?
No,
I don't always
I
ensure
don't always
that I
ensure
read all
that
the
I read
terms of
all the
every
terms
contract
of
I
every
sign.
contract I signed.
Why not? Why not? Because
Because it's very complicated to read all the contents of contracts.
the contract, that's correct. Anyway, they will explain to you the basic details.
Oh,
Very good. Okay, next.
okay.
Which department of a company have the most direct contact with consumers? Which departments of a company have the most
Um,
direct contact with consumers? The sales,
the
customer
sales,
services,
customer
and
services,
marketing
and
departments
marketing
have the
department
most direct
have the
contact
most direct
with
contact
consumers.
with consumers.
Very good. And in a large business like a bank, for example, which of those three departments is most likely to be based in a call center? And in a large business like a bank, for example, which of those three departments is most likely to be
It's
based
most
in a
likely
call
to be
center?
based
In a large
in a
business
large
like a
business,
bank, for
like a
example,
bank, for
the
example.
customer services
Customer services
department is most likely
department is most likely
to be based
to
in a
be
call
based
center. In a call center.
in a call center.
Very good. One more. In a large business
In a
like
large
a bank. In
in a large company.
in a large business like a
Okay,
bank,
in a large business like a bank,
for example,
For
The
example,
customer service
the customer
department
services
is
department
most likely
is
to be
most
based
likely
in a
to
call
be based
center.
in a call center.
Very good. Okay. Do you believe that your current government
Your
has a
current
good
government has a
strategy
good
for helping
strategy
people who
for
are out
helping
of
people
work?
who are out of work.
Do you believe that your current government has a good strategy for helping people who are out
People
of
who
work?
are out of
Yes or
work.
no?
Yes,
I believe that
I
my
believe that
current
my
government
current
has a
government
good
has
strategy
a good
for
strategy
helping people
for
who
helping
are out of
people
work.
who are out of work.
But if a person's main concern were job security, would you
Job
suggest that they look for work in the public
for
sector
working
or
in
the
the public
private sector?
sector.
If a person's main concern is for job security, would you suggest that they look for work in the public sector or the private sector? If a person's main
If a
concern
person's
were
main
job
concerns
security,
were job
I'd
security,
suggest
I
that
just
they look
suggest
for
that
work
they
in
look
the
for work in the public sector.
very good. Okay, next. In a board meeting, what are the principal duties of a chair?
Of a
In a
chair.
board meeting, what are the principal
What are
duties of a chair?
the
In a board meeting,
In a board
the
meeting,
principal
the
duties of the
principal
chair
duties of the
are to
chair
manage the
are
meeting,
to manage the meeting,
organize decisions
organize the
and votes,
decisions, and votes,
make sure
make
participants
sure
don't
participants
interrupt one
don't
another
interrupt one
or
another
argue,
or
and to
argue,
ensure
and to
that the
ensure
meeting
that
focuses
the meeting
on the
focuses
agenda
on the
and
agenda
progresses
and
smoothly.
progresses smoothly.
Very good. What other names can we use instead of chair? What other names can we use instead of chair? Other names we
Other
can
names
use
we
instead
can
of
use
chair
instead of
are
chair
chairperson,
are chairperson,
chairman, or
chairman,
chairwoman.
or chairwoman.
In your opinion, is it important when chairing a meeting to ensure that everyone participates more or less
Participate more
equally?
or less
In
equally.
your opinion, is it important when chairing a meeting to ensure that everyone participates more or less equally? Yes or no?
No,
In my
in
opinion,
my
it
opinion,
isn't
it
important
isn't
when
important
chairing a
when
meeting
chairing a
to
meeting
ensure that
to ensure that
everyone participates
everyone
more or
participates
less
more
equally.
or less equally.
Very good. If someone's main priority in life is their career, do you think they're less likely to have a happy private life?
Happy
If
private life.
someone's main priority in life is their career, do you think they're less likely to have a happy private life? Yes or
Happy
no?
private life. Yes,
I think that
I
if
think that
someone's main
if someone
priority
main
in life
priority
is their
in life
career,
is their
they're
career,
less likely
they
to
are less
have a
likely to
happy
have
private
a
life.
happy private life.
Why? Why do you think so? Because
Because such people are likely to focus on their work,
mhm,
and on the other hand, they are likely to lose that opportunity to communicate with family and uh, friends.
family and friends. Very good. That's correct. Okay. Next. Why should we always spend a few minutes prioritizing our task before we start work
Task
each
before we
day?
start work each
Why
day.
should we always spend a few minutes prioritizing our task before we start work each day? We should always
We should
spend a few
always spend
minutes
a few minutes
prioritizing our task
prioritizing our
before we
task
start work
before
each
we start
day
the work each
so
day,
that urgent
so that
or
urgent
important
or
tasks
important
get
tasks
done first.
get done first.
Very good. Okay, so here's the long one. Okay. What do the following abbreviations mean and how are they used in business
How they use in
correspondence?
business models.
What do the following abbreviations mean and how are they used in business correspondence? Okay. ATTN means
ATTN means
attention.
attention.
FAO means
FAO
for
means
the attention of.
for the attention
They're
of.
both used
They're
to
both
indicate
used to
exactly
indicate
who
exactly
correspondence
who
is
correspondence
intended for.
is intended
They're both
for.
followed by
They're
a
both
colon
followed by a
and then
colon
a name
and then a
or
name
job title,
or job
normally
titles,
on the envelope
normally
of a
on the
letter
envelope of a
or in the
letter
subject line
or in the
of
subject
an
line
email.
of an email.
PTO means
PTO means
please turn over
please turn over,
and is used to
and is
make
used
sure
to
that the
make
reader
sure
of the
that the
letter
reader of the
knows
letter
that there's more
knows that
text.
the small text.
There's more text
Okay, there is more text
on the other side
on
of
the
the
other
piece
side
of paper.
of the piece of paper.
PTO goes
PTO
in the
goes
bottom right
in the
hand
bottom
corner
right hand corner
of the page.
of the page.
Very good. RE means regarding
RE means regarding
and is followed. by a
is
colon,
followed by a
and a
colon
few words
and a
that
few words
indicate the main
that
subject
indicate the
of a
main
letter
subject
or
of a
email.
letter or email.
RE is usually
I
placed
usually
just below the dear line,
placed
just below
just
the
below
dear line
the dear
in a
line
letter or
in
in
a
the
letter
subject
or
line
in the
in
subject
an
line
email.
in an email.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, is it normal for public sector workers in your country to get automatic annual pay rises? Is it
Prices.
normal for public sector workers in your country to get automatic annual pay rises? Yes or no?
Yes,
It's normal for
it's
public
normal
sector
for
workers
public sector
in my
workers
country
in my
to get
country
automatic
to get
annual
automatic
pay rises.
annual pay rises.
Very good. What's another word for pay rise? What's another word for pay rise? Another word for
Another
pay
word
rise
for
is
price
raise.
is raise.
Very good. What's the maximum amount of time you'd be willing to spend commuting each day? What's the maximum
What's the
amount of
maximum
time
amount
you'd be
of
willing
time?
to spend commuting each day? The maximum amount
The
of
maximum
time
amount of
I'd be
time
willing to
I'd be
spend
willing to
commuting
spend
each day
commuting
is
each day is within 30 minutes.
very good. Okay, if you were a famous celebrity, would you employ your own PR manager? If
PR
you're a
manager.
famous celebrity, would you employ your own PR manager? Yes or no?
Yes.
If I were a famous
If I
celebrity,
were a famous
I'd
celebrity,
employ my
I'd
own PR
employ my
manager
own PR
so
manager
that things would be
so
easy
that
for
things
me.
would be easy for me.
Why? Why would it be easy for you? Because
Because celebrity has a lot of schedules,
mhm,
so it's difficult for me to control the schedule by myself.
very
So I must depend on the PR manager.
that's good to take care of it for you. Very
Take
good.
care of it.
The
Yeah.
PR manager will remind you of your schedule. Very good.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay, and that's the end of our revision. Let's have
Okay.
new work. Okay, very good. Okay, so repeat deposit,
Deposit,
withdraw,
withdraw,
put down,
put down,
incur.
incur,
Very good. Okay, listen. Deposit is a verb. It means to put money in a bank account,
money
to
in a
deposit.
bank account.
Withdraw
Deposit.
is a verb. It means to remove money from a bank
Remove
account.
money from a bank account.
For example, as regards personal banking, I think the need to
Banking.
deposit and
It
withdraw
depends on
physical cash will
withdraw
eventually
physical cash will
disappear.
eventually disappear.
Put down is a phrasal verb. It means to give an amount of
Give
money
an
as a
amount of
first
money
payment
as a
when you
first
are
payment
buying something
buying something.
that costs of a lot of money. So it's like a
Costs a lot
down
of money.
payment. Down payment
Down
put
payment.
down. Okay,
Down.
incur is a verb. It means to lose money or
Lose
owe
money
money or
or
have to
money
pay more as a result
to
of
pay
doing
more as a
something.
result of doing something.
For example, a business asks customers, okay, a business asks customers to put down a deposit on goods they ordered to ensure
The
that the
order
business
and
doesn't
the
incur
business doesn't
unnecessary
incur
cost
unnecessary
if the
cost.
customer changed their mind, if they
Change the
cancel.
mind. Cancel.
Let's practice. As regards personal banking, do you think the need to deposit and withdraw physical cash will eventually disappear? As
Disappear.
regards personal banking, do you
Personal
think the need
banking
to deposit and
need
withdraw physical cash will eventually disappear? Yes or
eventually
no?
disappear. No.
As regards personal banking,
Regards personal
I don't think
banking,
the need
I don't
to
think the
deposit
need
and
to
withdraw
deposit
physical
and withdraw
cash
physical cash
will eventually disappear.
will eventually disappear.
Well, why? Why not? Why not? Because
Because some people some people believe cash. Some people believe cash
in
is safest way to use.
safest way to transact or to use, very good. And small shop doesn't have credit card terminals, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
they need
exactly.
cash. Very good. Okay, next. Have you ever accidentally left your card in a cash machine after withdrawing money? Have you ever accidentally left your card in a cash machine after withdrawing money? Yes or
Withdraw
no?
money. No,
I've never
I've
accidentally
never
left my card
accidentally left my
in a
cards
cash machine
in a cash
after
machine
withdrawing money.
after withdrawing money.
Very good. What might a business ask customers to put down a deposit on goods they've ordered? Why might a business ask a customer to put down a deposit on goods they've ordered? A business might
A
ask a
business might
customer
ask
to
a
put
customer
down a
to
deposit on goods
put down a deposit on goods
they've ordered to
they
ensure
order to
that the
ensure
business
that
doesn't
the business
incur
doesn't incur
unnecessary cost if
unnecessary
the
cost
customer
if
change
the
their
customer
minds.
change their mind.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Sell like hotcakes.
Sell like hotcakes.
Very good. Sell like hotcakes. Okay, listen. When a product is selling quickly in a large quantities, we can say that it's selling like hotcakes.
Selling
This
like
is quite an
hotcakes.
informal expression though. So if the
Informal.
product or the item is like selling very
Selling
in huge
very
amount,
quickly.
it's selling like hotcakes.
Huge amount. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's practice. Name a company whose new products always sell like hotcakes. Name a company whose new products always sell like hotcakes. Uh,
Apple
is a company
is a
whose
company
new products
whose new
always
products
sell like hotcakes.
always sell like hotcakes.
Very good. Next, repeat. Consumer spending,
Consumer spending,
public spending,
public spending,
taxation.
taxation.
Very good. Okay, listen. Consumer spending is the money that general public spends, for
Public
example,
spend
on food, clothing,
on food,
going out,
clothing,
etc.
going out, etc.
Public spending, on the other hand, is the money that government spends, for
Government
example, on
spend, for
education,
example, on
healthcare, and
education, healthcare,
maintaining law and order.
making order,
Most public spending is paid for by taxation.
paid for taxation.
Taxation is a noun. It means the money that a government collects
The
from
government
people from
collects from
taxes.
people from
For
taxes.
example, most public spending is paid
Public
for by
spending is paid
taxation.
for by taxation.
Okay, let's practice. What's the difference between customer spending and public spending? What's the difference between consumer spending and public spending? The difference between
The difference
consumer
between
spending
consumer
and
spendings
public
and
spending
public
is that
spending
consumer
that
spending
consumer
is
spending
the money that the
is the
general
money
public
that the
spends.
general public
For
spend,
example, on
for
food,
example, on
clothing,
food,
going out,
clothing,
etc.
going out, etc.
Whereas public spending
Whereas the public
is the
spending
money that the
is the
government
money that the
spends.
government
For
spend,
example, on
for
education,
example, on education,
healthcare, and
healthcare,
maintaining law
and
and order.
maintaining
Maintaining law and order.
law.
Law, like the peace and control of the
Ah,
country. Law
okay.
and order.
Maintain law and order.
Very good. So law and order like this.
Okay.
Like the peace of the country.
Okay, I understand.
Maintaining law and
Okay.
order. Okay,
Maintain
next.
law and order.
How is most public spending paid for? How is most public spending paid for? Most public spending
Most public
is paid
spending
for by
is paid
taxation.
for by taxation.
Very good. Next, repeat. Target.
Target.
Achieve.
Achieve.
Very good. Okay, listen. Target. The word target is a noun. It means the person or group that someone is trying to
Someone is
influence,
trying
sell
to
something to,
sell
etc.
something to.
For example, some parents get upset when television commercials
Television
deliberately
commercials
target young
deliberately
children.
target young children.
Target can also be a verb. As a verb, a target is something that you want to achieve.
You want to
For
achieve.
example, in June last year, we
In June
achieved
last year,
sales
we
of
achieved sales of
152,000 pounds,
152,000
which
pounds.
was 12,000 pounds above our
Above.
target. Achieve is a verb. It means something to get or reach.
Something to get over a week.
Let's practice. Why do some parents get upset when television commercials deliberately target young children? Why do some parents get upset when television commercials deliberately target young children? Some parents get
Some
upset
parents get
when
upset
television
when
commercials
television commercials
deliberately target young
deliberately target
children
to young
because
children
they
because
promote unhealthy
they
products.
promote unhealthy products.
Where could give me an example of the word target used in a noun? Give me an example of the word target used as a noun, please. In June last year,
In June last
we
year,
achieved
we
sales
achieved
of
sales of
152,000 pounds,
152,000 pounds,
which was
which was
12,000 pounds above
which was 12,000 pounds above
our target.
our target.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Bid.
bit,
Project.
project,
Very good. Okay, listen. Bid is a noun. It is an offer to pay a particular amount
pay
of
a
money for
particular
something.
amount of money
For
for
example,
something.
I suppose so many cities submit
So many
bids to
cities
hold the
submit bids
Olympics,
for the
despite the
Olympics,
fact that it's
despite the
difficult and
fact it's a
expensive
difficult
project
and
to
expensive
manage
project
in
to
order to
manage
gain popularity
to
of their
gain
place.
popularity of the place.
Bid can also be a verb. It means to offer to pay a particular
Offer to
amount
pay
of
a
money for
particular
something.
amount of money
For
for
example,
something.
my city has bid
City
for a
has
famous
bid
international
for
sporting event.
what is the
Project
project?
is a noun. It is a planned piece of work that
Planned
has a
piece of work
specific
that has a
purpose and
specific
that usually
purpose
requires a
and
lot of
usually
time.
requires a lot of time.
Let's practice. Why do you suppose so many cities submit bids to hold the Olympics despite the fact that it's difficult and expensive project to manage?
To
Why do you
manage it.
suppose so many cities submit bids to hold the Olympics despite the fact that it's a difficult and
It's a
expensive
difficult
project to
and
manage?
expensive project to
I
manage it.
suppose so
I
many
suppose
cities
so
submit
many cities
bids
submit
to
bids
hold the
to
Olympics
hold the
despite the
Olympics,
fact that
despite the
it's a
fact
difficult
that it's
and
a
expensive
difficult and
project to
expensive
manage
project to manage.
because
Because after the event,
mhm,
sorry, no, in the event and after in
in the
the
event
event
and
and
after,
after the in the event and after,
uh-huh,
they can get large amount of income from tourism.
tourism. Very good. That's correct. In the event and after, that's correct because the
Yeah.
popularity and exposure of the country.
Mhm.
Very good. Next, has your city ever bid for a famous international sporting event? Or let's say your country. Has your country ever bid for a famous international sporting event? Yes or no?
Yes,
My country has bid
my country
for a
has
famous
bid for a
international
famous
sporting event.
international sporting event.
Very good. Next, repeat. Select.
Select
Selection process.
selection process,
Recruit.
recruit,
Recruitment.
recruitment,
Assets. Assess.
assess, assess,
Applicant.
applicant,
Very good. Okay, listen. Select. The word select is a verb. It means to choose something or
choose
someone
something,
from a group.
someone
For
from a
example,
group,
if I were presented with the opportunity
present
to
with the
go and work
opportunity to
either
go and
London,
work
New York,
either
or
London,
Tokyo,
New York,
I'd
or
select
Tokyo.
London.
I select London.
Selection is a noun. It is the process of interviewing and evaluating candidates for a specific job
Candidate for a
and
specific job
selecting an individual for
and selecting
employment
individual
based
for
on
employment based
certain
on
criteria.
certain criteria.
Recruit is a verb. It means to get someone to
Get
work in
someone
a
to work
company or
in
join
a
an
company or
organization.
join an organization.
Recruitment is a noun. It means the
Nine.
process of finding people
Process
to
of
join a
finding people
company
to
or
join a company,
organization. For
organization,
example, a company can also give applicants tasks,
give applicants
organize
task,
group activities,
organize a group
etc.
activities, etc.
during its recruitment selection process. Assess is a verb. It
Assess is
means to
verb.
carefully consider a
Carefully
situation,
consider a
person,
situation,
or problem to make
person,
a
or problem
judgment.
to make a
For
judgment.
example, when a company is recruiting new staff,
New
an
staff.
interview isn't the only way
Interview
for
isn't the
it
only
to
way
assess an
for is
applicant.
to assess applicants.
Applicant is a noun. It means someone who applies for
Someone
something
who
such as a
applies for
job.
something such as job.
Okay, let's practice. If you're presented with the opportunity to go and work either London, New York, or Tokyo, which of those cities would you select? If you are presented with the opportunity to go and work in either London, New York, or Tokyo, which of those cities would you select? If I were presented
If I were
with
present
the opportunity
with the
to go and
opportunity
work
to
in
go and
either
work
London,
in either
New
London,
York, or
New
Tokyo,
York, and Tokyo,
I'd select.
I do select New York.
Why? Why? Because
Because New York is a place where a variety of business are gathering.
very good and also very expensive place. Very good. So
Yeah.
we stop there for today, Yoey, but very good
Okay.
practice. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
and